How to install the rear rack on your Cowboy 4 or Cowboy 4 ST. With the bike upside down on an even floor, gently push the cable cover aside and carefully disconnect the motor cable. Use the 8mm Allen key provided to loosen and remove the rear wheel nuts on both sides, and remove the rear wheel with the belt. Use the 3mm Allen key to remove the mudguard screw near the battery. Then use the 5mm Allen key to remove the two screws towards the back of the bike. You can now remove the rear mudguard from the frame. You can set it aside, we won't need it anymore. Remove the two screws near the battery with the 5mm Allen key. Then remove the bridge plate. Take the new mudguard and insert it in its dedicated slot towards the front of the bike. Install the mudguard screw near the battery with a spacer behind it and tighten with a 3mm Allen key using reasonable force. Place the rack into position, then attach the two screws towards the front of the rack with the 5mm Allen key. Keep them loose for now. Make sure the belt is inside the frame, then line up the rack with the frame openings and install the two long screws using the 5mm Allen key. Tighten them using reasonable force. Then tighten the two screws towards the front of the rack with the 5mm Allen key using reasonable force. Center the mudguard on the rack, then attach it with the 3mm Allen key using reasonable force. If you find the mudguard isn't aligned with the wheel after installation, you can loosen this screw to adjust it left or right as needed. Place the belt around the rear sprocket, then carefully place the wheel back on the bike. Mind the cable and the position of the spacers on each side of the rear axle. Reattach both wheel nuts and tighten firmly with the 8mm Allen key. You may need to slightly wiggle the wheel to align it correctly. Be mindful of the motor cable, it should not be pinched. Finally, reconnect the motor cable using the arrows as guides. Then place it back in position and close the cable cover. You're all set.